Hello and welcome back everybody to our modded Minecraft Hermitpack Let's Play series, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at PSI as well as I'm going to quickly show you my villager spawner. So up on the top we just have a solar panel and it's feeding into a farming station, and the farming station has carrots on top, and then over here on the side I just got an RF Tools timer set up to 1,000 ticks, and every 1,000 ticks it just dispenses a carrot into the middle, and then eventually one of the people will pick it up or it'll just despawn. Either way, it's to keep them full of carrots. And then over here, if you see, there's two villagers down there. Once they grow up, they'll get transferred into this water stream, and then the water stream will drop them straight into a tinker's smeltery. And inside this tinker's smeltery we have it set up to where it will recirculate the iron in and out of the smeltery, as well as the emeralds. So the emeralds are the only thing that can be made into gems, so the iron can't fit in there, so it'll automatically go back into the smeltery. But I don't have it activated yet. We don't have very much iron in there, or very much emeralds in there at all, so I just turned it off. But the doors are blocked off by glass. I didn't know if I could use dirt or not, so I went with a transparent block, so they act kind of like they're not there. But then the doors can all still be opened inward, and with the trapdoors along the bottom with the water stream, any small villagers, like the baby villagers here, will still like fall off and get trapped down here until they grow up. If I wanted to, I could separate them, but for now, this will work well for us. But today, we're going to be working mostly on PSI. And PSI is a mod that allows you to cast spells using a casting gun. There's just a little bit about PSI and all that other stuff, but if you point at an item on the ground and right click to make your PSI dust. So we need to get first you need to get a CAD assembler. So a CAD assembler is really easy to make. It's just some iron and some pistons, and then you're gonna need to also make yourself your first iron CAD assembly. And in order to get PSI dust, you need to get some gunpowder. So we need gunpowder. Grab ourselves a stack of that, and we're also gonna need iron. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is, after you build your CAD assembly and your gun, you put your gun in here and you make it into your casting assistant device, which stands for CAD. Yeah, it's redstone. It's not gunpowder, it's redstone. So you throw redstone down on the ground. And it'll turn into PSI dust. So now we started the tutorials. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and it'll unlock as we go. So we get the debug trick and the selector caster. Okay, so the basic one is very basic, but with this PSI dust that we got, we can make ourselves a spell programmer, which we're going to need. And then with the other side us we got, we're also going to need to make ourselves a spell bullet. So now since we've got the spell programmer, you can plop that down. Okay, so we open the level 1 tutorial. I'm not going to read this, but I will slowly scroll down, so if you wanted to read it, you can pause it and read it at your own will. But I will not go through and read any of it. I apologize for that. But it's going to basically give you the lowdown on what you need to do to operate your CAD your caster device. So, and it's just going to give you a little bit of a rundown on how you actually make the spell. Alright, now that we have opened that up, you take your spell bullet that we made and you right click over here. Alright, so in order to get your selector casters and all that stuff, right click on the board, and these are kind of like logic statements, so it's easier to work in a backwards fashion because of the fact, like, as you'll see, trick has a target and a number. So the only thing you want to do is with the target, or with the target, you target back here, and what are you targeting? The selector caster. And you can see the complexity of it isn't very high, it doesn't cost any power, and the spell is good. So now we can right click that with our spell bullet, put this over here, and as you can see, we can't add anything to it, so we actually have to make a basic socket, which we're going to need another sawdust for. So we're just going to throw it, and you got to be careful. On the right hand corner there you see a power gauge. You got to be very careful with how much a spell costs or how much it's going to use, because if you run out of that power gauge over there, you will kill yourself. Oh, and we gotta make a whole new gun. So you gotta make a whole new gun. You put the gun in here with the basic socket. Now you got one that can hold spells. And now if we put it over here, we can cast our debug spell. So if you hit C and move it over to debug, we now have debug. Oh, and you always got to make sure you get rid of your old casting device, because if you don't, so we're gonna need a battery, it looks like. Just a basic battery. So let's grab our old gun for now, put this back in here. Basic battery, basic. Alrighty. Oh, we're gonna need another iron CAD. Okay, now we can get rid of this. So now, oh wait, we need to grab that gun back because we gotta get the debug spell out of it. This one. So now we go back here, put this all in here. Now if we grab it out, we put this over here, take this out, put this in here. Now we should have enough power to cast our debug spell. Every time you level up, you get more PSI power. So now that we have leveled up, we can go into tutorial number 2, and as you see here, we're going to get a constant number and a connector. As last time, I'm not going to read this, but I will scroll down and allow you to pause it and read on. They're all going to just be about the next tutorials that you're going to be doing and everything like that, and how you should go about using them. Alright, so to go about this one, you want to grab your spell bullet out that's called debug. And then back in here, if you remember, this trick debug had a number that we can put. So we'll just select down on here, and we'll select a constant number, and we'll do 1 for now. Just for sake of complexity and how much power it'll use. So you can see it's successful. So now if we grab our bullet and we right click on it, it gives us the new spell, and we can put our gun back up here and put the new bullet in here. And if you right click, and what the constant number does is it will increase the effect area or the range or the explosion. But now that we have tutorial number 3, we get trick, add motion, and entity look. So on this one, it will actually get into a little bit of movement and everything. And all these highlighted all these underlined words are very important to make sure you don't go over, especially here on the bottom, the cost. Alright, so let's jump into this one. So we're going to need another spell bullet for this. So for right now, we'll just throw one of these down. Grab ourselves another spell bullet, and with the second spell bullet we're actually going to remove these, and the one that was highlighted was trick, add motion. So we have trick, add motion, and on this one we want to target, because who's going to be targeted by this is the selector caster, so us. So we're going to be targeted by this add motion spell. And in the direction we want to do the operator entity look, and this has to, as you see, so the direction is the entity look, but the entity look has to be targeted to us, the selector caster, because we are the target of the entity look. And then as a speed, we can do a constant number, and let's do 1. So now it'll travel us in the direction of the selector caster at a constant number speed of 1. And it'll say, so it says it works. So let's grab our spell bullet, right click on it. Oh, we need to change the name really quick. So instead of calling this constant number 1, go down here, delete 1, call this move. There we go. Now if we put this in our spellcaster other spot, and we select move, and when we look at that, as you see, it moves us 1 block in the direction that we're looking. So if we wanted to, we can go back in here and we could change the constant number to be like 3, or well, not 13, 3. But if you look over here, it's going to cost 900 or 12,000 to move that far. So we don't have enough to do that. Even we could probably pull off 2. So let's see. Let's pop our bullet back off out over here. Grab move. Alright, click on the spell programmer, grab it back out of here. Now if we click on it, you'll see we moved farther in the direction that we were going. Quicker. And like I said, you gotta be careful, because you can hurt yourself. You don't have enough power built up. So that unlocked level 3, or tutorial 4. So we can go into tutorial 4, and you can see it has trick explode, entity position, a vector raycast, and air suppressor, whatever that is. So here, if we go in here, you know, and you read through this all, it'll tell you exactly what, you know, you're gonna do, and it'll give you a little bit of insight on so now if we go into our previous spell here, rather than using entity trick add motion, if we delete this and we replace it with explode, and we do the position as entity look, and we do the power as 2, we'll have to do, we don't have enough power to do that, so we'll have to change it to 1, and that is acceptable. We can, the potency of the spell is under what our gun can cast. Oops. Always do that. So you need to make sure you click off of the number or the tile beforehand if you want to rename it, and we'll call this explode. And then we're going to need to make ourselves 1 more spell bullet. So if we make ourselves 1 more spell bullet, we right click on this, and we put it in our spellcaster, and we highlight explode. Let's go out here. Now, if we look at this block and click it, so if you wanted to use the vector raycast, the vector raycast requires a position and a ray. The position is going to be the entity position, which you're going to get by targeting the selector caster, because that's the entity is us, where we are, and the ray, where the position is going to extend from, is going to be our selector castity, our entity look, which is going to be targeting our selector caster. Now, the position we want to explode from is the entity position, and the power we're going to do is 1. And that'll, and as you see there, that'll actually give us a complexity and a potency, a cost, and everything of under what we need. So now if we go back into our CAD assembler and grab out the explode bullet, right click it on there, and put it back into our gun. Now if we fly over here, select explode, and we click it, doesn't look like it does much. Let's see if we can explode some sand, or a torch maybe. So if we change this number to 2, nope, we can't do it. What if we change this? It feels like it's happening right underneath our feet. What if we have the position be here and the power be 1? There. That's probably what we wanted to do. Now if we change this back to our explode, yep, does not work again. So it does have to be based off, well, what if we do the vector raycast there? Since that was the whole point of putting the vector raycast. So if we do explode from that position and a power of 2, can we do that? Oop, position, power. Nope, it's too much. Well, what if we grab a gold gun? Oh, we can't. Do 1 here. And if we grab our bullet back out of here and put it back in there, there we go. Haha, we fixed it. Now we can blow stuff up. And that makes a little bit more sense too, based on the little bit of language. I wonder if can we go through things? No, can't teleport through things. Okay, so why this works is that we're getting the position for the explosion from this operator vector raycast, and the raycast is being generated from the position and where we're looking of the spellcaster. So because where we're standing and where we're looking, it's determining the raycast from where we're standing and what block we're looking at, and that's in turn giving us where the explosion is going to be, because the position of the explosion is the operator or the raycast, and that, like I said, that raycast is getting its position on where we're standing and where we're looking, and it's getting the position of where we're standing and the ray. So what a ray is how it's a direction in one direction, so it's using where we're looking, and from where we're standing and where we're looking, it's pinpointing it is pinpointing what block we're shooting at, or what block we are trying to explode. So if, like, since we're looking at the grass there, it's going to explode the grass. But that is based off of where we are positioned and what we're looking at. So that, I hope that helps out on a little bit of the idea of how these raycasts work. I mean, I know it is a little bit time consuming and it does take a little bit of logical thinking, but I always figure if you're working backwards from whatever you're trying to do, like if we started with trick explode, I mean, on this one I did sit here and figure out how to get the vector raycast to work, but like I said, the position is based off of our position, and then the ray it's casting out, what direction, is based off of how we're looking, because they're both synced back up to the spellcaster. I could have put it down here, but I didn't know. I just figured I'd put it way up there. But we'll be going through these, since I've figured out the vector raycast now, we'll be going through the entities 101, numbers 101, and vectors 101. And these will help us out tremendously on making actual spells and everything. I mean, I've tried my best to give you functioning spells that actually work. Like you can move, and we could probably fix up this move spell here too. The debug spell is just a debug spell. There's, if you need like a block update or something like that to debug it, that's all you really need that. But I hope that helped you guys out on a little bit of useful information on figuring out the basics of PSI. Join me next time as we dig deeper into the PSI mod and learn more about how these vectors and rays and everything work. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.